PLC Network here with another unboxing, this time coming from the company Vantop, and I have an action cam sitting right in front of me, and this is a brand new model that literally just launched onto the market, and it is the Vantop Moment 6S action camera. It's their latest and greatest action camera, and we get to open it up today and see what it looks like, and then go take a look at some demo footage to see what it can accomplish. This new action cam can shoot up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and it can take images at up to 12 megapixels. It has a 2.33-inch touchscreen IPS display on the back, and it has a 12 milliamp battery that gives you up to 90 minutes of 4K at that 60 frames per second. It features a lot of familiar settings that you'd find in a lot of today's modern action cameras, like time-lapse, burst mode, slow motion, and of course it does offer stabilizations, they're referring to it as smooth flow stabilization for keeping your image from, it offers Wi-Fi, so you can connect it to an app, of course, so you can transfer the pictures to and from the camera directly to your smartphone. And it has instant sharing to your, some of your favorite social networks. And it has a remote control, which you don't always find with a lot of the action cameras, so that's always a plus. To have remote control, you can slap it around your wrist or on the tripod or something, so you can instantly, pretty much take pictures, start end video and recording and all sorts of different things. So like I said, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna open it up. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it comes with. And then we'll get some demo footage here so we can see what kind of video it produces. So the camera is secured to a temporary plastic plate here. You just slide it off to pop it off. And again, it's just temporary, but you can keep it if you want and maybe hook this to something if you want to use this to hook the camera to. Waste not. And we have a lot of accessories here. It's pretty cool, actually, given this camera is going to run you about $199. So it'll be their most expensive camera in their lineup. So it's only right that you get a ton of stuff to go with it. I mean, look at this pile. Okay, where do we start? You get two stickers here, so you can stick it onto something like some kind of a case or your car or a bike or something, and you have a nice thick user manual, which I'm gonna guess is in multiple different languages. Yep, we got English, French, and Spanish, and that'll get you started in terms of how to use the camera. You have a small foldout here that just kind of gives you some basics on how to insert the battery and download the app from the App Store. They support both iOS and Android. They give you an extra back lid for the case that goes around the camera. It looks like this is, instead of the one that's under now is a hard shell plastic one. This one basically, it continues the hard shell theme to everything except for this back part right here, which is just like a form of plastic, and that allows you to be able to use touch functionality while it's in the case. And as a warning here, it says touch functions will not work underwater, which is quite common. You have some extra pads here with 3M double-sided sticky to attach the mounts to different things in case you want to rip a mount off and repurpose it. You have two mounts here. It looks like one is flat and one is curved. So this will be for helmets, and this is just for any flat surface. You have various different parts and pieces to help change the direction of the camera in terms of how it's mounted. So like right now it's mounted on this, allows you, once you loosen it up, you can move it forward and back. This, for example, here is just going to change the orientation of the threads, at least that this is going into, so in case you want to move the camera this way. And this one appears to do exactly the same, only it just has a longer reach to it. You have a bicycle mount here. You have your typical mount here that has the curved neck and comes up a little bit there. You have another one that just simply changes the direction. So you definitely have backups on backups here. And then you have a tripod mount here, and another one here that, so you got female and male format for tripod mounting and other accessory mounting. Then they provide you with two straps here, and this is going to be for like going around your wrist or your ankle or anywhere else you'd like to attach the camera to. So you can just use the arms on the mounts here to slide it through and attach that mount to anything. So again, wrist, ankle, maybe some kind of a bar or similar situation. You have a cleaning cloth for the lens. You have a USB Type-C cable for charging the camera with. you have the battery here. And like a lot of these cameras, the battery is clearly replaceable, so you can carry around multiple batteries if you feel like you're gonna have a long day. The camera does support an external microphone, so it has internal microphones on it, just like any other action cam, but when it's inside the case, it's kind of, you know, pointless because you really can't hear anything. So if you're gonna use it underwater, I mean, or in extremely wet conditions, plan for just video with no audio. But if you are shooting audio, I'd say you're doing this outside of the case, then you can use its own built-in microphones, or you can use an external microphone using the USB Type-C connection that's on there. And not only that, it looks like they give you a USB Type-C lavalier microphone, and this is a big one right here. I mean, they're just throwing icing all over this cake. So you can use an external mic, they give you the external mic, they give you all of the adapters here, and then of course they give you an actual remote control that functions like a watch in ways. It doesn't tell you the time, but it goes around your wrist just like a watch would, and it has 5 options on here. You have the ability to take a picture, you have the ability to start or stop recording, you have a burst mode right here in the middle, you have an option to turn Wi-Fi on and off with, and then you have a power button here to turn off the camera when you're done using it. Finally, last but not least, they give you this little card here that just says, hey, reach out to us, let us know what you think, share on all your favorite social networks, because who doesn't want free marketing? That's what social networks are for, really, in the end. But so let's take a look at the camera itself. It comes inside of the waterproof case with one mount already attached to it, as a little rubber ring to help prevent you from losing this, although it just kind of came out anyways. It opens up similar to a lot of different mounts. You have a little latch here that just unhooks it, and then the back just swings down, and then you have a nice tight fit too. You have the action cam, and the cam itself is tiny. It's a really small size, as you can see here, and it looks great. It's got a rubberized texture on it to help it, to make sure you got a good grip on it while you're playing with it. It's, again, a 2.33-inch touchscreen right here on the back. And then on the side here, the left side, you have one microphone there and a little latch. You pop that open, that reveals the USB Type-C connection. On the other side, you have a power button, and that's just simply used to turn it on and off with. And then the top button here is going to be your main button for taking images or starting or stopping video record. And then, of course, you have a nice big microphone up there. On the bottom, you have a tripod mount here, or at least the threads for a tripod mount, or you could use whichever one it was in here that actually had the tripod mount. There we go. So you can actually screw this on and mount it directly to something without the need of the waterproof case. So you can mount directly to just the camera itself if you want to run around with it, or again, you can put it in the case, put the other one on a tripod and hook it to that. I mean, no matter what you want to do, it pretty much is offering you the capability right out of the box. And then, of course, you have a little latch here that pops open, and that gives you the battery. Oops, looks like I turned it on there. And it already comes charged and ready to go, and with a battery in it. And that's another thing I failed to mention, actually. It comes with 2 batteries. So you don't even have to buy an extra battery, at least your first extra battery. It comes with 2 batteries. So it's gonna keep you really running with this, because again, you can get up to like 90 minutes, I believe it was, right? 90 minutes? Yes, 90 minutes at 4K 60 frames per second. So now you have 180 minutes 4K up to 60 frames per second. You can cut that down to 1080 and take all sorts of video, of course. That's going, it's gonna take you much further than the 180 minutes. But you got plenty of batteries here. And then, of course, in the battery, the hatch here, you have a SD or a micro SD slot there, and that's where you're going to actually put your media. And it's the only thing it doesn't have, unfortunately. It has everything except for the micro SD card, which I'm not really surprised with, because almost every action cam out there doesn't come with the SD card. The front display here is just your basic details of what's going on with the camera, your current time on a record, your battery status, what mode you're in, what resolution you're at, and so forth. But everything's going to be coming off the back screen where you're gonna set up everything. You're gonna, of course, want to take that off while you're doing that, or else it's gonna drive you nuts trying to touch everything through this little plastic that really kills the accuracy of the touchscreen. But with that off, your touchscreen is extremely fluid, works really well, going in between all the modes and features. And really, it's just like a lot of the other companies like GoPro and SJCam and so forth. So what we really want to know is what does the actual footage look like from this action camera. So we're going to get prepared and change some clothes for some cooler weather and go take it outside and see what we can capture with it. So what we have going here is we have the camera set to 4K at 30 frames per second with the image stabilization on, and you require that because the image stabilization will not go over 30 frames per second, so you can't get 4K at 60 unfortunately, but what you're seeing is still good. We have the camera attached to the windshield using a suction cup mount that we had laying around. We just adapted it to a GoPro mount so we can pull this off without buying anything extra that's specifically for the connection that this camera comes with. But as you can see, the image stabilization is working fantastically. And this is quite common with today's modern action cams that offer image stabilization, since when you're in your car, unless you're hitting potholes, you're not getting any intense bounce coming from your ride, as you would if you were walking or running and you get that up and down motion. So this is nice and smooth. The only thing you're going to get from driving around is jitter, and the stabilization is doing fantastic to eliminate or reduce that jitter. What you also see is the image quality is also fantastic. Everything from your color accuracy to just how beautiful the resolution really helps to make the image look when you're shooting at 4K. And again, this is 4K at 30 frames per second, since you'll lose stabilization if you decide to up it to 60 frames per second. Now, when you're taking it for a walk, you are getting that up and down motion like I mentioned. It isn't as smooth as it would be driving around, so you do see this step in the image, but despite that, it's actually greatly reduced. This doesn't look bad at all. Compare this to like the older action cams, like GoPro 2 especially. That image was so bouncy while you're on the walk. This looks amazingly smooth compared to that. And when it comes to any kind of motion coming from your body, using your limbs or your waist to move around, it looks fantastic. You have a lot more control when using a camera this way, and the stabilization really helps to show this. So that's that. Again, this is the Vantop Moment 6S 4K action camera. And we're going to have links in the description below with more information, plus a full story about this later on. So go check it out at POCnetwork.net once we've had some time to really break it down and see what we like about it. And if you liked what you've seen here, don't forget to subscribe below. There's that subscription button down there, as well as a comment section so we can all talk about this. Maybe you're planning to get one of these yourself. Maybe you already have one. Maybe you have a past model and you just want to compare and contrast. That's what the comment section is for. And as always, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. If you want to stay on top of all the latest and greatest, and or at least the gadgets we cover, remember to subscribe right here. Subscription button. Click it. You're going to want to. There's lots of videos, interviews, previews, all sorts of stuff. Button. Click it.